Hey, welcome back to another episode of the She's Making an Impact podcast. I'm your host, Rachel and Gome. Today, we're going to be talking about success habits that I almost always follow. And this is probably going to be a different take on like any habits podcasts or, trainings or books that you've read or anything like that. And I want to talk about I'll talk about all the different things that I do that you can implement into your daily routine, and also a lot of the reasons why I say I almost always follow them. Because okay, let's dive in there. Let's start with why I almost always follow them. So if you don't know my background, I played volleyball at the best club in the country, and it was very disciplined. And I think everyone has a different area that they need to work on. For me, it's definitely not discipline. Like I am a very disciplined person to the point where like it's caused me harm of having, like disordered eating in the past and playing volleyball gosh, with a broken foot. So like I'm a finisher. I follow through. I've played with a broken back. I've played, and I'm talking like 14, 15, 16, 17 years old playing volleyball with a broken foot, with a broken back, and now slipping rib syndrome. And so, like, I'm someone who follows through and is very disciplined to the point where it could actually detriment, like hurt me. So I'm like, okay, I can chill a little bit and relax. And that's why, like, everything that I say, it's going to be 80% of the time. Don't expect perfection out of yourself with any of this stuff. With all of these habits I'm going to share with you, could I be so disciplined, so regimented with these that I do them every single day? Yes. And I'm going to be completely honest with you, I don't. And it's almost like intentional because I know myself. I can get really sucked into things. Like stupid, like I don't know if you have this. I have a very obsessive personality. And so like, 10, I'm 10 years old and I'm obsessed with Hanson and I'm convinced I'm going to marry Taylor Hanson. So I like saw him in concert. My best friend and I were planning our trip to Tulsa, Oklahoma, where they live, so we can like spy on their house and meet them and eventually, marry them. I saw another example, saw Top Gun Maverick with my son last weekend. First Tom Cruise movie I've ever seen. And now all of a sudden I'm like obsessed. And so over the past week, I've watched every single Mission Impossible movie. And yeah, so that's just how my brain works, how I'm wired is I can be so obsessive, so disciplined where I'm like, no, I need to kind of chill out and relax, which my husband has helped me do so much. But everyone's wired differently. So just know yourself. And that's like my preface to why I say I almost always do these, because no one's perfect. Don't expect perfection out of yourself. And just like, we've worked with thousands of students over the years, and just human behavior, when you expect perfection out of yourself and you don't reach perfection, you end up giving up and being like, oh, it's too hard. But if you expect, and I'm not going to say like half-assed work, but like imperfect action. Like if you do it 80% of the time, it's good enough. And so give yourself grace, especially a lot of people in my audience, like your mom, and you got kids, you got a lot of things going on. Give yourself that grace. So that's my preface to all of this of what I do and 80% of the time. Okay. So one thing that I do is consistent bed and wake up time. So I have an aura ring on this finger. I'm not gonna it's on my middle finger. My aura ring. And so I worked with Tanessa Shears. She has her own podcast, and we had her on the podcast on how to optimize and biohack. And so I worked with her for 6 months on how to biohack my sleep. And I learned a lot through working with her. She is amazing. I'll make sure to drop her link in the show notes so you can check out Tanessa. Highly recommend everything that she has. She's just an awesome human. And so optimizing my sleep is one of the big habits that I've done, like all the different sleep habits. I go to bed between 8 and 9 usually. If I'm up past 9, it's usually like 9:15 is the latest. So I'm early to bed, early to rise, which means I wake up between 5 and 6 most days. I don't set an alarm. I wake up when my body says I've had enough sleep. And so example was it this weekend. I slept into like 6:30. So I didn't get to do a lot of these habits that I'm going to tell you about because I gave myself the grace to sleep and actually get rest because my body needed it. So again, I have in the past set alarms to wake up at 5 a.m. to be very disciplined, but now I'm like, just listen to your body. And if you need sleep, sleep. And it's okay if you don't get all these things done in one day. It's not going to kill you. Okay, so consistent bed and wake up time. So figure out, when do you go to bed, when do you wake up? That's just gonna help you optimize your sleep. I'm like, Tanessa would be so proud of me. I've been able to optimize my sleep where it's in the 90s, like, every day. Um, and a lot of that has to do with, I'll talk about, like, habits of having, good nutrition and not drinking and all of that stuff, but that is a big one. Unplug. I have the habit of unplugging. So I'm in my office right now and I have my phone charged right here. This is where I put my phone at around 6:30 at night, and I don't see it again until the next morning. So I have the habit of unplugging from work, unplugging from, all the crap. That doesn't mean I don't have my iPad with me. I have my iPad with me, but I don't have any work related things on my iPad, and only the people that I want, like my family, can reach me there, nothing work related. So the habit of unplugging, the habit of planning out my day. So, a great habit to get into is to plan out your day the night before. And so, successful days start the night before. So, like, I'm talking about how to plan your next day. That comes with getting great sleep, right? Comes with knowing what you're going to do. So, I have a list of what are the things I need to do today. And I plan it out the night before. So, I know like my top 3 things that need to happen. Other success habits, intermittent fasting. And this is again where, if you're so disciplined with it, it can be a detriment to your health, of like, you're gonna be so like, I've had eating disorders in the past. So I'm very much, I listen to my body and I don't force myself to do a lot of intermittent fasting. It's like, oh, if I don't eat until 10, okay. But if I'm hungry at 7, I'll eat at 7. But most days I'll have an early dinner. Me and Gabrielle eat early at like 4:30 and 4 to 4:30, and then I won't eat until the next morning. And so that helps me optimize sleep, helps, if I'm not snacking late at night, and all that stuff helps with weight and energy, and I just sleep better. So like, by using the Aura Ring, I can actually see if I eat late at night how much it affects my sleep. And so I don't feel as well rested the next morning. Another thing that I do, I have headphones that I wear when I'm sleeping, and I listen to meditations while I'm sleeping. I'm like, this is prime time for your brain to just soak up information. It's your subconscious mind while you're sleeping. So I'll listen to different meditations. There is Soak Stream. I'm listening to like Christian healing meditations. What are some other ones? Triggum Healing has a good one, as well as Douchy, Dauschy, has some good ones too. But there's a bunch of different YouTube channels with videos that go like 8 hours long, 11 hours long, that you can actually listen to while you're sleeping. So those I love. So that's all like habits that I do in the evening, bringing me into the next day. So then I wake up the next morning, no alarm. I wake up when my body's like, you're good. You've had enough sleep. And I'm into the First 15 app right now. So it's like a 15-minute devotional, and it has like worship music and a prayer in there. It's pretty cool. So the First 15 app, and then I'll do a meditation. I've done meditations for a very long time. One of the ones that's really easy to get into is the Tony Robbins priming meditation. So if you just Google Tony Robbins priming, you'll find it. And that's a 12 to 14-minute free meditation that you can do. What I've gotten into lately, from, if you listen to our podcast with Haley Hobson on habit hacking, that's not the first time I've heard about this device called the Brain Tap. And after hearing about it from her and then my friend Dr. Shannon Irvine, and having her on the podcast, I was like, okay, I'm gonna get it. This thing is so cool. It's a meditation, but it's guided with, it has light that beams at you. Like, I can't really describe it, but it syncs up with your brain waves. It's cool. You don't need a fancy device though. You can literally just, there's like a million different apps that you can do for meditation. So meditation, start with like 2 minutes. Like, again, don't expect perfection. If you set the bar so high, you're never going to meet it, and then you're going to feel like a failure, and then you're never going to try again. So set the bar low. Set the bar for 2-minute meditation. If you can sit still for 2 minutes, you're good. Next thing that I do is a morning walk. And so just some kind of movement. If you can work out, please work out. Like, having a body that has the ability to work out is a gift. And I wish I could work out in this moment. I just can't with my ribs, but I can go for a 30-minute walk. Well, not 30, 25. It was 24 minutes, 24-minute walk in the morning. So get some form of movement, get the blood pumping. If you can do a more high intense workout, do that. It feels so good. And please take advantage. If you have the body that can do it, do it. Do it for me. So some form of movement. And when I'm doing that, personal development. So I'm listening to a book, or sometimes I'm just listening to worship music, or I'm listening to a podcast or something on Patreon or Spotify or something. So I'm doing some form of personal development while I'm out walking. Okay, so next habit. Come home after the walk, and that's when, I've already had water and coffee at this point because duh. But I'll have more water and then supplements with breakfast. And so I'll do Organifi green juice. I love that stuff. So does Gabrielle. She sees me pour it into my water and she goes, jus vert, which is French for green juice. She loves that stuff. So Organifi green juice, other supplements that I take, Novos Core NMN. So I take their longevity supplements. That's Novos Core. And then other things that I take, you don't have to take what I take. I'm going to share them with you because these are different things I do. Collagen, turmeric, a lot of just like anti-inflammatory stuff for my rib injury, just to be able to, function like a normal human being, as much as I possibly can. And then breakfast. So after all that, then I'll have breakfast, and it'll be a high protein, anti-inflammatory breakfast. So I have eggs. Oh, it's eggs. It's usually like eggs and ghee, or today was eggs and oatmeal, or eggs and Ezekiel muffin with grass-fed butter. But it's usually one of those three combos, essentially, or eggs and avocado. you know? But it's always high protein because I'm always thinking in terms of what are the habits that I can control, that I can help myself optimize my body, my energy to show up at my best. Okay. And I know my body with carbs just doesn't cut it. So you'll never see me eating like cereal or something like that that doesn't have protein with it. Or just like processed carbs in general, unless I'm in Europe and it's all the really good stuff, which I'll be going there and I'll be eating all the bread and dessert and all the good stuff. Okay. Then after breakfast and kiddos are off at school and all of that, then it is distraction-free work time. Turn off notifications. So the habit of putting, like when I'm doing stuff, the phone is down and I don't have notifications turned on. Okay. So I'm just optimizing the work environment so I can get as much done in the least amount of time possible. Another habit that I do is I check our bank accounts. I don't do this every single day, but I'd say like 2 to 3 times a week. I'm checking our bank accounts and our credit cards, and I'm paying off our credit cards 2 to 3 times a week. I prefer doing that as opposed to having like a giant bill at the end of the month, especially with how much we spend in our business of like $1,200 a day on Facebook ads. Like when you do that at the end of the month, it's like, but if it's every 2 to 3 days, it's fine. So I like track what you want to improve upon. So I track our finances. I'm looking at our finances. There's a new app that I got that helps us track our net worth, easier than my little spreadsheet that I was doing up until now. And it's called True Bill. Hold on. Let me see if I can actually pull it up. It's so cool. It is so cool. So you can actually sync all of your bank accounts. You can sync all of your credit cards. You can sync your different investments, and then you can see your net worth, and then it'll show like trends as your net worth grows. So whatever you want to improve upon, track it. So, like if you want to improve upon your health, you can weigh yourself, right? Or track macros or whatever that is. Okay. Habits for energy. I talked about sleep. I talked about nutrition. I also I help my team with this of like, don't sit too long. So I am never sitting in this chair typically for more than an hour. It's like I purposefully drink a lot of water so that I have to get up and pee every hour on the hour. But I try not to sit too long. And I move around all the time. Another habit, water, no soda. I just like why drink your calories? Why drink all that sugar? I'd rather just eat chocolate. So I'm like, dark chocolate, soda, dark chocolate will always win. So just water, no soda. And then habits of self-care. So how are you taking care of yourself? How are you taking care of your mind? How are you taking care of your energy? So I get my nails done, and it's just like one of those little things that makes me feel better. So think about what are the little things that you could do that make you feel better. And then facial. So I have to wrap this up because I have a facial 11:30. Just the habit of self-care. Another habit, just tell people you love them. I do that like every day, multiple times a day. And again, I do these things 80% of the time. So let's recap some of the really important things. Unplugging. So the habit of getting rid of distractions, planning out your day, the habit of thinking ahead, intermittent fasting, listening to meditations while you sleep. And again, you don't have to do all of these. If you pick just one of them and implement it for, a month and then build on it. Like Rome wasn't built in a day. And I've been adding on little habits over the course of a decade. So just to preface that. First 15 app meditation, morning walk, movement, personal development, water supplements, high protein, anti inflammatory breakfast, distraction free work time, tracking, spending, bank accounts, net worth, growth, track your health, don't sit for too long, water, self care habits. And just remember, give yourself grace. Do this stuff 80% of the time. 80% of the time. If you do that, you're going to grow as a human and you're going to grow your business. If you need help and you want some support, go to helpmecoachnow.com and you can book a free strategy session with someone on our team. We're here to support you. So just go to helpmecoachnow.com. And I would love to know, what's one habit that you have implemented or you're planning on implementing from my little chat today. I hope you have a great day and we'll talk soon.